Welcome, everybody. I have with me a really great pharmacist colleague who's going to be sharing the virtual stage with us today. So, Sandy Bumpin, welcome to the guest chair. It's really great to have you here, and thanks for being in conversation with us.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So, as a short intro, I'll kind of let people know who you are, but then I would love for you to kind of give any additional info about your background that might be helpful as we dive into the questions. So, Sandy, folks, is a hospital clinical pharmacist and a freelance writer for companies serving pediatric patients. So, she specifically works in an acute care hospital in Miami, Florida. And in that role, Sandy, I know that you've told me you work in several different areas, including pediatrics, emergency, and step down units. So I would love to know, if there's anything else about your pharmacist background that's helpful to share, feel free to do so. But most importantly, how did your interest in health content writing come about? You mentioned that you are now a freelance health content writer for company serving pediatric patients, and that's a specialty that you came up with in the Health Professionals to Health Writers program. But I'm curious about what made it motivated you to go into health content writing to begin with.
Sure. Thank you for the intro. What brought me into health content writing, I didn't know much really before talking to you, but I saw you, I forgot a post on LinkedIn, and you were saying something in the line of health professionals should be health writers and not just your random Joe. Because we have the background and we have the research skills and all that. And I was like, oh, it makes sense. And then I like the idea of the flexibility that freelance give. And I thought I like the idea of using that to supplement my income, having that flexible option instead of, you know, um, a second job or, So that was my appeal with freelance writing.
Yeah. Had you considered like other types of medical writing in the past? Or like, I know sometimes when people first learn about health content writing, it is the first time that they're learning about health content writing. Like maybe they're familiar with other types of medical writing, like more traditional publications or, drug information. So I'm just curious um, whether you had found interest in any of those other types before, or whether health content writing was like something that you had in mind as a type that you would want to pursue.
I didn't really understood the whole freelance world, like that those people writing articles or medical writing could be freelance. To me, it was
Mhm.
either you do a residency in drug information or fellowship, and then that's what you do. So I really wasn't. I never really thought of medical writing as something I could do because I did not have the background for that. And then when I was researching health writing, um, again, I think one of your video you were talking about the difference between the different types of health writing, medical writing, and all that. And I I felt like I felt more attracted to health writing. I didn't feel like medical writing, the technicality and all that. I felt like it
Mhm.
was a little too dry for me. So no, you were really my first introduction to the whole world
Gotcha.
of that world,
Gotcha.
content writing.
Okay. So that was your first introduction. I imagine that in something that I posted, whether it was the post that you mentioned or a video that I shared that you mentioned, that I was probably talking about the Health Professionals to Health Writers program as well. What would you say motivated you to join that program? I asked because, like, obviously, you can that the program that I created didn't exist when I became a health content writer,
Yeah.
right? Like I figured that out myself over the course of several years. So I'm curious what made you or what motivated you to seek support with your health content writing journey, and why you ultimately made the decision to join the program.
So I like writing, right? But I didn't feel like I didn't feel confidence in my writing skills. And also I didn't know much about that industry. So when I found you, I started to basically binge watch your videos and all that at that time. Um, and The more I learned about it, the more I felt like it's something that I wanted to do, but that I didn't feel like I could do it without any resources.
Hmm.
Um, and then I figured that I remember talking to my husband and trying to explain to him what it was and the program and all that, and he was like, what is health, what is content marketing? And I'm like, babe, that's when you Google something, what you find, it's people writing it, and people get paid for that. And he was like, he didn't, he was not very convinced either. And I was like, I don't know how else to explain to you because I'm trying to understand it either, but I feel like that could be something for me. Um, and I don't know why specifically your program, but I feel like because of the resources he gave in those videos, I felt like I knew what you were talking about. and I was like, okay, it's a big investment. It was like the biggest investment I've ever done in you know, besides going to college, obviously.
Mhm.
Um, but I figured, okay, if I was calculating if I getting paid that much per article that I write or whatever, I can make it back in so and so article. So it's doable, and that's how I made my cost benefit. And I was like, okay,
Weigh your pros and cons,
yeah,
benefits,
it's
yeah.
yeah. So I was like, okay, let me try it. Let me try it. And even if I don't like it after a certain point of time, I probably can make back that money.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So how did it work out for you? So you completed the program, you were part of my second cohort,
Hmm.
and so you would have wrapped up last year.
I think
Um,
September.
yeah, I think September. So it's been 6 to 8 months. I'm not
Hmm.
good at year math. But since you ended the program, so how have you been settling into, like, your role as a freelancer? Are you liking it? Do you actually like the work? Because that was, something that was unknown for you.
Hmm.
And just what's been your experience since you've been kind of off on your own?
It's been very interesting, learning a lot. So I I made that money and more already, way more. Um, and I so my goal when I started the program, the more I was going into it, I had an idea of how many clients I wanted to have that would feel comfortable with my uh, full time work schedule and family life and all that. And I was like, okay, I can probably aim for 2 to 3 clients. I don't think I can do more than 3 clients with my full time work. And right now, I have 2 clients, and it's actually perfect for me right now. Uh, my goal in the future is hopefully to have more time so I can take more clients. But right now, this is that's good for me.
In that same line of questioning, what has been your biggest challenge since working with clients? Like, and during the program, we simulate a lot, right? You get prepared with resources that you will need when you are
Hmm.
working with clients, but it's different when you then actually start working with the
Hmm.
client and then actually have to use the resources
Yeah.
and also have to, like, figure out other things that,
Hmm.
like, pop up on your own. So what has been like a challenge for you since going off on your own and working with real clients?
Okay. So for me, the challenge was, and I still feel like it's a balance that I'm trying to find, is to stay organized. Um, in communication with the clients, in sending invoices and all that. But if you don't send invoices, you don't get
You don't
paid.
get the money.
and in balancing it with my full-time work.
Mhm.
um so that's really the big challenge. So stay organized with my time, and uh keep everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did
um
you balance in the program? That's a bringing up your full-time work is a really important point, and I'm curious as to when you were in the program, how did you balance that with your full-time work and, like, all your other
mhm.
life responsibilities as well?
So in the program, it was pretty. So we were meeting once a week. So
Mhm.
that was, on Sundays. So that worked out with my schedule. And then the assignment and the reading, I was doing it, because I work evening at my full time job. So I was doing it in the morning. So it was okay. It was not. It was a little hard, but and I felt like at some time I needed more time to do some things like the articles and all that. But on that note, it was good that everything was so timed and structured. Yeah, like you gave us deadlines and
Mhm.
timeline in the program, and that's been so helpful for the real life experience because I have deadlines.
Yeah. I told
And
y'all I'm not just trying to be mean, like, you're gonna have actual deadlines when you're working with clients, and you have to meet them.
yes,
So,
yes,
you have to meet these deadlines in the
yes,
program as
yes.
well.
So, so that's been really helpful, to transition to the real life world of freelancing,
Yeah.
to have those deadlines because it's tough. So I remember you said, like find when you were giving those assignments, you were like figure out the time that you have realistically in the week to block out to work on this and that, and that's basically how, like, I figured out, realistically how much time I have for clients, and that I'm like, okay, I cannot take any more clients at this time
Mhm.
because realistically that's it. That time tapped out in terms of time, weekly amount of time. So anyway, that was my thought.
Good. I'm glad that was helpful. You reminded me, and let me go tell my current cohort of students that because I don't think I've said that to them yet. They're in phase 5, week 3. So I think it'll probably come up next week when they get into week 4.
When you were asking me about the reason why, when you mentioned the phase, I remember now. One of the reasons why I chose to do health care professional to health writer program was the fact that there was like a didactic part and then a practical part, and the way that you broke down the program, that was very similar to what we did in pharmacy school, and that
Mhm,
was like, it makes sense to my learning
mhm.
brain, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's what I need. I don't want something that's just theory, or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
like,
how
you
I
just
break the
need a
writing part and the business part, because I did not I like writing, but I feel like I didn't have the writing skills to be like a professional freelance writer, and also the
mhm.
business skills, to have your own business. So yeah. Anyway.
Gotcha. That makes sense. That's part of the reason that I created the program is because when I was starting out in health content writing, like, I had someone to support on the business side, but that person was not like, they had nothing to do with health content or healthcare
Mhm.
at all. So I didn't have anybody to be like, "Well, this is what health content writing is." Like, so it's like, if I had a service to offer, then on the business side, I can figure out how to offer that service, but, like, I don't know how to put the service together
Mhm.
because I have no support on the actual
Pharmacy.
writing
Yeah.
side. So that's really great to know. Did you have any concerns before you actually started the program? So, like, you saw the program, like, this is something that seems interesting to me. It
Mhm.
matches how my brain works, seems like it'll be a good fit. I talked to Megan, I signed up, I paid the money, I'm waiting to get started. And then sometimes in that waiting period, that's when, like, the doubt starts to creep in and you're like, what am I doing? What's going on? Am I going to be good at this? So, like, did you have any concerns or, like, fears that crept in prior to the program? And if so, what were they?
So the main thing was like, am I gonna learn, like, even after we finish the program, will I be able to do it? Like, will I learn enough, or will I be able
Mhm.
to soak it in so that I can like do my own thing? So that was my main concern. But then, because I signed up, I think in July or something. No, 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 no. Sorry, I started in like in March or something, and then we
It was
started in July.
earlier, yeah, because I think you signed up when I was enrolling for the first round, but maybe you couldn't do the first
Yes.
round, so,
Yeah.
like, you paid in advance, basically,
Yes.
for the second round, so you signed up really early, like,
Yes.
there months passed
Yes. Yes.
before
Yes.
you started.
Yes. So between those, I think it was 3 months or whatever period of time, I was like, I'm gonna learn as much as I can for free on, health content writing. So I started to listen to like all kind of podcasts, freelance writing, content writing, and I was like, yeah, so I can ask questions, during the once I start working with Megan. So that's what I did, and it helped. It helped, alleviate some of those fears and learn a little bit more. um it also, but yeah, at the same time, it was still like, oh man, that seems like a lot of work and a lot of pieces, to put together to have
Mhm.
a freelance business. So I was like, I hope I can pull it off after that course. So that was my main concern. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Would you, I really appreciate you sharing all this. I think it'll be helpful for folks to hear. And this last question in particular is for students who have signed up for the May cohorts, or they're kind of in that boat you were in where they've signed up and now they've got a little bit of time until they get started. So is there anything you feel like they should know ahead of time, or even just like one thing that you feel like you did during your experience that helped you get the most out of the program, and what's something that you would recommend that they do in order to get the maximum reward from the program?
Yeah, I would say just be like, don't have any hesitation to ask any question you have during the program. There was no stupid question. You answer them all, and you really use you as a resource. You are a great resource. Even when we had questions that were not necessarily in the course, so just ask those questions if they make sense to you. But yeah, just ask questions and really take. I mean, it's an investment, so you should really take it seriously and really give it your all if you want to get a lot out of it. Those assignments and all
Yeah,
that.
the portfolio in particular,
The
like that's
portfolio.
key. How did you feel about your portfolio that you created in the program?
I felt really good about it, and I love the process of creating it. Um, because I could see, with your edits, that was really good for me to see you, the way you were editing. Um, that was a great learning for me. So I like the process of creating it, and I love the results. I was very, very happy, very happy with it.
Thank you so much for your expert wisdom, your alumni wisdom, Sandy. I'm sure folks appreciate it, and we look forward to keeping up with all the exciting things that you have going on in your freelancing journey.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you, thank you. I learned a lot, and I'm so happy I joined the health provider to health writer program. So thank you.